Hello, everyone, welcome back to the channel Global Times USA. Subscribe and like my videos. Today we are diving deep into the Russia-Ukraine war update, where tensions continue to escalate on the front line. What we are witnessing is not just a regional dispute, but a conflict with global consequences that has reshaped geopolitics, international trade, and security concerns worldwide. This war has become one of the most defining confrontations of our era, and it is important to break it down in detail to fully understand its current trajectory. From the exterior perspective, the situation on the ground appears as fierce and unforgiving. Both Russia and Ukraine are heavily invested in military strategies that involve long-range missile strikes, drone attacks, trench warfare, and heavy artillery exchanges. The exterior layer of this war shows us cities turned into rubble, bridges and critical infrastructure destroyed, and power stations frequently targeted to weaken civilian morale. For Ukraine, the front line represents a shield that prevents Russian forces from gaining more ground, while for Russia, it is the stage where they project power and attempt to break Ukrainian resistance. Villages, open fields, and industrial zones have transformed into battlegrounds where every inch of territory comes at a heavy cost. When we shift our lens to the interior, we find a much deeper and complex picture. The war is not only fought with weapons, but also with diplomacy, economics, and narratives. Inside Ukraine, the spirit of resistance runs high despite the destruction. Families live in bomb shelters, communities are displaced, yet the determination to remain independent has only strengthened. The Ukrainian leadership continues to rally international support, securing military aid, economic packages, and humanitarian relief. Meanwhile, the Russian interior dynamic shows a society balancing between strong state, controlled messaging, and the consequences of international sanctions. Daily life in Russia is marked by restricted access to Western goods, rising prices, and an economy redirected towards sustaining the military machine. At the interior level, this war also involves cyber attacks, propaganda battles, and the struggle to maintain morale both on the front lines and at home. This interior struggle is long, painful, and complex, but it forms the backbone of how the war is sustained. The performance of both militaries is another critical aspect to review. Ukraine, despite being smaller and less equipped at the beginning, has shown remarkable adaptability and resilience. Its forces have learned quickly how to integrate advanced Western weapons like HIMARS, Patriot defense systems, and modern drones. Their performance on the battlefield demonstrates high levels of creativity, using asymmetric tactics to counter Russia's numerical advantage. Russia, on the other hand, relies on its large manpower, artillery supremacy, and missile capabilities. The Russian military performance has been marked by heavy offensives, large-scale mobilization, and attempts to wear down Ukrainian resistance by sheer pressure. However, questions remain about efficiency, morale, and coordination. Performance on both sides highlights the intensity of the war. Ukraine fights for survival while Russia fights for influence and dominance. Safety features in this context are unconventional. On the one hand, there are the defensive systems like bunkers, anti-aircraft missile shields, air raid sirens, and evacuation protocols designed to keep civilians safe. Ukraine has worked tirelessly to strengthen its air defense network to protect key cities like Kyiv, Odessa, and Kharkiv. On the Russian side, safety measures include mobilization of police and security forces to prevent unrest at home and building fortified lines in occupied territories. Yet, the sad reality is that safety is minimal in war. Civilian casualties continue, and international organizations repeatedly warn about humanitarian crises. The safety features we observe are more about damage control than prevention, but they still play a vital role in minimizing destruction. Unique selling points of this war, in geopolitical terms, include its significance as a test of Western unity, NATO's credibility, and Russia's global position. Ukraine has become a symbol of resistance for democracies worldwide, showcasing how determination and international partnerships can challenge a much larger adversary. Russia presents the conflict as a fight against NATO expansion, framing itself as the defender of its sphere of influence. For global powers, the war has created opportunities to redefine energy routes, strengthen alliances, and reconsider security doctrines. The unique aspect of this war is its ability to influence far beyond the battlefield, reshaping global food supplies, energy prices, and defense policies. When we talk about price, it is not just financial but human, economic, and geopolitical. The price for Ukraine has been massive. Thousands of lives lost, millions displaced, and entire cities destroyed. Economically, Ukraine has faced severe contraction, destruction of industry, and dependence on international aid. For Russia, the price includes isolation from Western markets, sanctions that have crippled industries, and an ongoing drain of resources into sustaining military operations. Globally, the price is seen in higher energy costs, food insecurity, and shifting trade balances. The human price remains the most tragic, as families on both sides continue to suffer unimaginable losses. In conclusion, the Russia-Ukraine war is far from being just another conflict. It is a war that has reshaped modern geopolitics, tested international unity, and redefined warfare in the 21st century. The Frontline shows destruction and bravery. The interior reveals resilience and propaganda battles. Performance highlights strengths and weaknesses. Safety features demonstrate survival strategies. Unique selling points showcase the global stakes. And the price reminds us of the heavy toll on humanity. As tensions escalate on the front line, the world continues to watch closely because the outcome of this war will influence not only Eastern Europe, but the entire global order. Stay tuned here on Global Times USA for continuous updates. And don't forget to subscribe and like my videos. Your engagement helps us bring more awareness and analysis to these critical events shaping our world today.